And now that the NSA news is merciless, so anything that is being said from the moment it's turned on
It's property of you.
dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I have some compromising things on you, like Jeff Epstein
Oh
stuff.
no.
I think party at Thomas Hughes' house from 2012.
Oh no.
With the current French
Never
girl,
happened.
Steve.
No evidence.
You were married at the time, but that's okay.
No evidence. No evidence.
Alright, now we'll start it. Ready? Hi, Ed. And it's you know he knows how to edit now.
Oh, he's gonna learn.
He's
real
gonna
I
quick.
have
learn
the
real
power. I have the editing power. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Only gentlemen here, though.
I have some type of stuff.
Extraordinary teams and extraordinary moments deserve extraordinary environments, right?
This is a great idea, actually. It was all thanks to Chris.
Arizona airspeed, all Chris' fault. Okay. Thanks, Chris. It's nice here.
Happy accident.
Yeah.
We are at the Atlantic Beach boardwalk with Arizona airspeed. Yeah, and it's all over. World champions again, Alex, first time. Alex,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's enough beer in the environment, I think. We wouldn't have to search for too long. 2 breweries I already said. So one here, one across the bridge. So,
You went to one of them, huh?
all right. Well, let's begin at the beginning. So the beginning of the team was Nicholas and Mikhail. You're done now.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the skydiving world, to your fans, to the competition community, now that you're leaving? What do you want to leave behind for?
For me, it's gratitude. And we keep saying this because we do a lot of fundraising for the team. But it's really true. I don't think if you could open that team room door of airspeed when no one is looking, there's a lot of gratitude behind the scenes. That we know 100% that the lifeblood for this project comes from the community, the sponsors, all the fun jumpers, all our supporters. Authentically, we know that in our hearts. So gratitude that people believe in us, people support us, and everything we do is easy from that point because people give us the tool, the financing, the jumps, Skydive Arizona to do what we do. Everything is easy once you have that support. So it's not even possible without that. It kind of seems like something that you get coached to say, but I really feel it in all my heart.
Mikhail, something to add to that from your position?
More to underline that as opposed to add to it. Very grateful for every single person that's ever been part of this journey. And I mean, whether you jump with us, whether you've just been around the drop zone, sharing loads with us, whether you may have bought a raffle ticket along the way, or have been closer to the team, but just huge gratitude to everybody involved. It really does take a village to do something like this. Just immense appreciation and gratitude for everything.
And Nicholas, you said earlier that this will be our last interview, and I was laughing about it. And you said we're laughing about it too. It's the last interview probably as an airspeed member, but in the future we're not going to lose you somewhere on the road now. Or what are your plans?
Well, my plans is to our plans. If you did back even a year, we've done a lot of with Jack Jeffrey's help. He's really helped us having a healthy structure on the succession planning for airspeed, which I think is we could not have had that if it wasn't for Jack. So thank you, Jack. The other thing is also it's been very healthy within the team, but also at some point for me in February, it was like we're all a little bit distracted with what's going to happen after the World Meet, blah blah blah, and at some point we saw the guys. I'm getting to the point that you're asking. We saw the guys, the French team, did really good at wing games. We kind of underperformed a little bit based on focus issues at the indoor meet. After that, it was more like just let's just be focused on winning the World Meet. Everything else will be okay. So my next, back to me, the next plans are I'm going to stay in the community 100%. And what form that takes, I'm not quite sure. And I'm not too worried about it. It's going to work out, but I'm not leaving the community at all. You're going to have plenty of more interviews with me, I promise. Because I mean, the sport has given me so much, and it's time for me to kind of give back outside of airspeed in a way. And like I said, what that looks like, I'm not sure. It could be a home at the Air Force Academy. It could be with the Golden Knights. It could be with XP. I'm also for the rest of the next 2 months, November, December, and the remaining of October, we're gonna do whatever these guys need me to do. You know?
Beach jumps.
Maybe a Packer version.
Yeah. Massage, space massages are always available.
Yeah, that's the Rayford Otter going over.
There's no Forrest Gump when he starts running across country. I picture that.
And the NSL has open volunteer positions.
Yeah. No. Me speaking English. Yeah.
Okay, well, here we go. So, Mikhail, you have your online programs for teams already developed and stuff. Are you going more into this kind of development direction of services?
I'm going to support the top teams that are involved. Really, the tools I provide are mostly focused on the top teams as an audience. Of course, I have plenty of material for everybody in the lower ranks of the scoreboard. But the stuff will live on. I'm still involved there, but ultimately it's going to be a new adventure. What it is, I don't know yet.
All right, then let's move. Let's switch to the future. Christopher Kuhlmann and Joey Marshall.
It's harder
and
to say with
Alex
the German
Lino.
accent.
Yeah, there's no German.
It's too French.
That could be arguable if there's some German in there. But Herr Kuhlmann, surely. So, what would you like to tell the audience about your trip with airspeed until here? So also looking back, kind of, and then what's coming up. Talking to the audience, to the whole, because we've been quiet so far. I zipped my mouth and everything else that is zippable.
Your fly zone.
No camera
I
here.
said this the other day to the team after jump 10. We're very fortunate with this lineup. We didn't get to choose our teammates. We were chosen by them, and it was like it became a beautiful brotherhood. And I would never see Mikhail and Nick in an outside environment and be like, I want to go hang out with those guys. No, but truthfully, in the beginning, and now I'm like, man, I didn't know anything. I love them as brothers, and we look forward to starting a new team and building that same brotherhood and pushing airspeed beyond to 40 years. So we can have that 40-year reunion.
Nice.
It's exciting, and it's you see the workload in front of you, and it's intimidating, but it's definitely going to be a fun process.
Joey.
To underline what he said, this was something that Jack said to us as well. He was like, when I pick teammates, I really focus on commitment first, and to underline what Chris said, commitment has been the biggest success factor on this team, because we, like he said, we've become brothers, but we aren't naturally the people that we would gravitate towards one another, like at the drop zone, you know? And but the fact that we were all so committed, that we're committed and loyal, meaning that none of us were quitting was never an option for any of us. And getting rid of one another was also never an option. You understand? So as a result, we've always been kind of like trapped in a room together, and it's like, hey, we're either gonna have a miserable 5 years, or we're gonna learn to work together really, really well. And obviously we chose to work together really, really well, and it's been the biggest success factor for this lineup, and it's the biggest lesson for Chris and I moving forward. For creating a new lineup, I feel very excited about it. A lot of people, I'm sad to see Nick and Mikhail go, but also selfishly, I know that no airspeed experience, no airspeed journey is complete without taking over the lineup yourself, you know? That's what every kind of long-time airspeed member has done. You get invited onto the team, you become a 25% member of all the decisions and all the success that happens, and then it's on you to kind of continue the legacy, and that I'm excited for that part. If I didn't have that opportunity, I'd feel like I'd missed out, you know? So I'm sad to see them go, but I'm also excited for the future. And for any of the future teammates we might have, you know, being a part of airspeed is the most fulfilling and most challenging fraternity that you'll ever get to join. But like they said, it's only possible because of the community. You know, in the U.S., it's just structured so that we have a lot of trust, and Chris and I are dead set on continuing that legacy and continuing to re-earn that trust every year. That's it.
Well said.
I think I wanted to add one thing to our lineup right now, that we're we fired 2 members.
Yep.
But the beauty of that was, like, each one of our personalities is so different, and that was a key to the success, for sure. Like in the beginning, it was definitely hard to figure out where we all stood, and you know, my hat's off to Jack for helping us navigate that. But if we were all the same personality, we would not be successful. I believe that 100%. Thankfully, they chose us, and we were probably different than what we wound up being. But all 4 of us have different personalities. Sorry, Alex, 5. And I think that was totally the key to success for any team, any marriage or whatever. Joey said it was a fraternity, but I think it was a marriage, you know? Very weird one.
I say it's a fraternity because it includes not just the 5 of us, but also everybody that's ever been a part of it as well.
To Chris, to your point, like, collectively, we is broader we, right? Like, we pay a lot of lip service to diversity, but what does that really mean? Like, it's hard. It's hard to really work together when you're fundamentally different in some ways. But that's where the strength comes from. So it's the hardest thing to do and the most potent and powerful thing to do. So it's a huge piece of this.
Yeah, I find that also, Joe and Christopher, like when I was in the role, and I'm just want to talk about us exiting the program and Joe and Christopher taking it on. I feel like when I was in their shoes, when Mark and Thomas left, I had so much creative energy inside of me to take this team and instill my own vision of the team. And I feel like that's what keeps it growing from generation to generation. Because I mean, Mikkel and I steered the ship to here, but they start seeing the gaps in that, you know, and they added and complemented as we on this journey together. But as we step off, they get to boost their own vision, which is going to propel the next lineup to do
punch some icebergs?
No, but really, because when they first joined the team, we were just doing the team by ourselves with no cooperation with Jack early on. You know, the first year it was just us doing our thing, and with Jack's skill set and guidance, having a long-term commitment like we have, you can only flourish. We would have hit dead end pretty quick without Jack. And just that knowledge they carry that we didn't necessarily carry when we started this team. So already, and then the relationship with Jack hopefully continues and everything else, you know. So yeah, it's
Ironically, the pandemic was a blessing for us. You know, we were what 2 months, 3 months into the team, and we got locked in a house for months.
Either somebody was going to die.
Yeah, you're either gonna kill each other or become this unit that
Unbreakable.
that's unbreakable, unshakable. Yeah.
Does it feel for you like this, Joey, Chris, and Alex, like this kind of exciting energy of taking responsibility?
For me, it's a mixture. I'm like, man, we got such a good thing going. Why don't we just cut the training a little bit and you guys stay on for a little while?
And it's scary too, probably.
Oh, for sure, right? Stepping into the unknown. But that was, I think, all of everybody, I can speak probably for everybody, their invite to airspeed. You're taking a leap, you know, of faith. And it's like, I'm either going to fall on my face or, you know, triumph. It's exciting. It's empowering. Of course, it's a little frightening, but that's the beauty also.
And there's an athletic side of that too, of course, naturally, because at this point in time, after round 10 here in Crystal Coast, do you see yourself as a number one in the world still, or is there a chance that this may change, or do you think you will be back to the number one in the world next year already? There's an athletic side of that.
I think that I think Chris and I and Alex are in a good position. I think that there's been a lot of like lineup turnovers, right? And in other top teams,
yeah.
And you've gotten mixed results with each one. You know, do I think it's going to be to use a positive example? Do I think it's going to be as productive as when Kelly was swapped into Hayabusa? That would be probably wishful thinking, you know, because that was one person. Kelly did a fantastic job, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be catastrophic either. The goal of the team is always to produce world champions. So the new lineup, that is the goal, that is the expectation. It's not to win nationals; it's to keep the Otley sword hanging and manifest at Skydiving Arizona. That's the absolute goal. If it takes 4 years to realize that rather than 2, then so be it. But I feel pretty confident that we can do it in 2. You know.
And I think Joey and I and most people have learned this, like choosing a new lineup based on somebody's where they stand right now in their success. Performance is a short-term like solution. That's not something we want to invest in. You know, we want to invest in something we believe in. So investing in the right people, whether it takes us a couple steps back, I think is the right decision in anything. And I'd rather put all my chips in on one side over there and invest in somebody I believe in, rather than taking a short-term ticket to the top that I'm half in, half out. So whether we're right back at the top or we're, you know, fighting from behind, as long as I believe in that person or those people and the project, that's where I think success really comes into.
Yeah, and something that keeps coming to mind is Jack had us read that book Legacy of the author followed the New Zealand All Blacks, one of the most successful organizations in history, right? And one of the things that the author mentions in that book is that every organization goes learning, growth, and decay. And even though this lineup is sitting at the top right now, and we can probably stay on the top for several more years, it does sort of feel like all that we have left is decay a little bit. Not maybe that's a little too pessimistic, but it's like, it would be a struggle for this lineup to go back to learning. You know what I mean? And with the lineup change, we're immediately going back to learning, and that's what keeps us from hitting that decay phase. And that's what the author argues, is that for an organization to be productive long term, it has to just keep going through learning growth, and try to avoid the complacency of the decay phase. You know, and I think that's what we're doing. I think it's
But
good.
that's also the other thing. A lot of other teams should, if they have the opportunity. I know, like on the face of being a skydiving team, you want reps out of airplane in a wind tunnel. But if you're looking at being Hayabusa, the Golden Knights, Rhythm organizations that keep turning over people that want to have the entity wants to maintain long term, they need to like look at their project as big picture and how to get new people into the project. Because a lot of it is that the decaying phase, or even airspeed. There was a moment there in 2013, 14, 15, 16 for airspeed, where we were just wanting to stay at the top, but we were decaying and we were just replacing people with the next best skydiver. But it wasn't the right mixture of people, you know. And I think you have to really look at yourself to look at that instead of always getting caught up in this cycle. I gotta win. I gotta be the best person I can be next national. Whoa. How about looking at it from a bigger picture? You know, and once we kind of managed to switch gears for several reasons within the sport, airspeed started becoming healthier. That's also what we're just seeing now, and from a project standpoint, not just lineup to lineup. So I believe in the boys. I believe that they're gonna, they have that, you know, in their DNA now, and they're gonna keep that going, and it's gonna remain past that.
What was that? Better people make better skydivers?
Yeah.
No, seriously, because it starts from you know, yourself. Be a better teammate, be a better competitor, be a better person. And I think that definitely helps, pushes you to be at the top, rather than being you know, selfish and just about me. You're on a team that's never going to be successful.
That's the thing.
As the new guy, I started at Skydive Arizona, and so I've been around for half of Airspeed's 30 years. And seeing Chris and Joey come up when they joined in 2019 for now, it feels like it's in good hands, because the same leadership qualities that is like put Airspeed at the top, I see in them, like leading the challenge, leading the events, mentoring the jumpers. It's the same vibe of like the best that I've seen from Airspeed. So I'm really excited for the future.
Yeah, so you've observed integration of airspeed members from the outside, observing it. Now you have your own experiences. So is that smoothness and?
It's been a wild year, because it's sort of like the most intense crash course you could get for being a videographer, of like going from filming, you know, intermediate or advanced level teams or whatever, through to you need every point on the hill every time. So that was a fun process at the start, of lots of but it's been a really good, really supportive environment that they've always been there to help me figure out how to fix it. And it's also that same kind of, you know, supportive leadership that you need, not beating you down if you make a mistake. It's figuring out how to get better. It's how you get better.
So before we look at a little bit, just a little bit deeper, I'm sure people are interested about this competition here, you know, the athletic part of it too. This was more like the group dynamic part of the whole story, which is actually the most exciting part and the most important part, because the athletic result is always, or is a result of the group dynamics and all that. So that is good, but still we want to talk a little bit about the other stuff. But before I forget this, when will the new lineup when is the first training jump for the new lineup scheduled?
We're planning December. Right now we still have a few more tryouts to go through.
Okay.
Joey and I have been given this little tidbit of knowledge a long time ago, like have your net out for everybody was the saying. So even if we have an idea of who we're looking at, we're sort of sure about it, we're still, you know, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's and making sure we're not, you know, stepping over dollars to pick up pennies, and making sure we're making the right choice. Due diligence for Airspeed brand.
Yeah, we're planning on starting training December 1st, and we'll probably make a decision, you know, not within a month of that. We'll probably make an announcement, I should say, within a month of that.
November 29th.
But no, it goes back to what I was saying about loyalty is an important value of ours. So what that means is if you're going to be loyal to your teammates, you got to be damn sure when you make a decision on them, you know, because the people that Chris and I picked, we're going to ride or die with, you know, and our only ability to have, you know, control of it is right now as we make the decision, because once we make the decision, they're our brothers, and that's it.
On that note, I had a question. What are you guys doing next year?
Can I apply again too? Every time I'm asking for a slot with the SB,
I'm
I never get it.
transitioning to have some money.
Hey, you already have money. You look at it.
No, but the other thing with Airspeed as a whole, as a project, since we're talking about the whole loyalty thing, is once you know that people are committed to showing up and being part of the Airspeed thing, Airspeed will challenge anyone that joins Airspeed based on just the legacy of training jumps, tunnel time, competition circuit, the expectation of the alumni, the community, of themselves, of the team. So
Public relations.
yeah, but no, but that's, I'm telling you, it's when the going gets tough that you don't quit, and that's like when you join Airspeed, if anything, you can get overwhelmed with everything coming your way. Because I mean, there's other teams, other projects out there, but at the end of the day, when you put on the uniform for Airspeed, you got to roll up your sleeves and work hard. And everyone comes into the team with different strengths and weaknesses, areas of opportunity, and you're only going to become a world champion if you really take a holistic approach to it all, and then working on the items that you as an individual have to work on. It could be different. Some person are very talented in free fall, but they have difficulties with team dynamics or whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. It could be anything in 360 degrees that you have to kind of review yourself. So that's the commitment or that loyalty that you're committed to that process, and you're not telling you the story you want to hear, so you feel better about yourself, because there's a lot of humble pie when you engage in that whole process, and being honest with yourself, that makes you a champion.
And even after 14 years of being on the team, every year you're learning something new or working on something. I mean, I can just, speaking for Nick, like every year I'm sure he's learned and learned and learned. And you go through that same thing, you're learning or struggling, and it's beautiful, but it's, you know, not everybody can go full 100%.
Can we make a deal? I'm not gonna ask, you know, everybody wants me to ask a question, you know, for names.
No, you're not getting a tryout.
No,
We're not trying you out.
We asked Craig and
We
Eliana.
have an
They
age
said
limit,
no.
okay? Anyone older than 75
No,
can't be here.
I don't want to start. I don't.
Do you want us to call you up? You want us to call you up when we?
If I don't
You can
ask that
officially
stupid
reject
question
us on
from
the
here
phone.
until
When those-
November 29th,
The
will
new
I get
thing
the
is credit
information
score.
on the same day when you're
Own a house.
entitled?
Well,
Last
since
week
I
we got
know, hold on, since I know that as the journalist for all of skydiving, oddly enough, you're not on social media, so you are always the last person to get information. I will put in my little checklist.
I got him. I got him.
Thank you, thank you.
I
send
still
him a
use
pigeon.
rock
How's
and
that?
chisel, and
We'll send it.
I love you, Chris.
We'll send a pigeon.
I've got pigeon mail. Don't worry.
and release white smoke above the airspeed team.
It's not gonna be white. It's gonna be red and black.
You know, we're gonna mail you a dream catcher, so you'll dream about it.
Okay, thank you. One of those measures will reach me, I promise.
I got you. I know how to do it.
Multimedia, old way.
All right,
You
let's
carve a
just-
message in a rock and you throw it through his window.
This was so much fun. We just spent 5 more minutes on the athletic side. You know, I feel like this is so much more entertaining actually than this year. But at this competition here, you know, I mean, you won by 21 points or something again, which is, you know, and I know that the French team, the Aethers, came here probably kind of based on your scores at the US Nationals, which are not too long ago, and that was a little over 20 or 25 plus average. And they came, we have a chance or something like this. And then you ended up with your 27 plus here, you know, one of the highest ones in history. Did you Did you know there would be challenge and we have to show a little bit more than that, or how did it happen?
I think one thing that we've always done is that we always measure ourselves a little bit. We definitely did more in the beginning, but at some of the skydives we got down from, it doesn't matter what anybody else scored. It's like, how did it feel? And I'd say 90% of the skydives we were like, collectively everybody was like, it felt great. And if somebody posted a higher score, like they deserved it. We knew in our hearts that those were good skydives. Whether they had hiccups or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's how you react to it and how you respond. I thought it was a great meet for us. Like starting from round one, I think it was one of, besides Norway, that was one of my favorite round ones. And we always say like round one takes a year off your life. And I'm seeing gray hairs on all my teammates, more on Mikkel lately. But I found one recently, so it's spreading. Stay away. But no, I think it's all internal. You know, your competition is obviously external, but the biggest competition is within the team and within yourself. So the French are definitely super talented. You know, Hayabusa is going to be dangerous. Guitar's looking great. Everybody's looking great. Inside the U.S., Golden Knights are going to be a battle. Because they have some really decent, halfway decent coach.
The girls too.
The girls, yeah.
All the girls,
they're killers. I think the biggest competition is always on the inside, and how you react and how you respond as a team.
Was it a different approach compared to the US nationals?
Yes.
I mean, we
Very, very
intentionally
deliberate.
talked about it a lot about not peaking at US Nationals.
Yeah.
Being so close. We scheduled bulk training up until like early September. And we went to Nationals with a very small ramp up, only 3 days before Nationals, which is unlike us. We like to show up a week ahead of time, which we did here. And like Joey and I talked about, I didn't really get settled in at Nationals because going from bulk training into like one jump at a time, it takes a little bit of like a transitionary period. And for the world meet, we use Nationals as that transition a little bit. So we kind of just felt ready before round one at Nationals, but at the same time, here we showed up a whole week early. We were ready for.
And it couldn't be much, I mean, any more different as in Arizona and Eloy. I mean, what do you think is the effect of the sights? You know, what you see.
I think everybody was getting, distracted.
Every time I climbed out, I wanted to look over the fuselage and look at the ocean for a little bit before looking back at the building.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a beautiful place, but you gotta. There's two things here. One is you have to respect the fact that it's a different place with different airplanes, different process, different everything. That's why we show up a week early. You know, it's a big commitment in time, money, and energy, but it's necessary. It really bothers me when teams show up the day before and expect to do well. It's like you just shot yourself in the foot. Yeah. But going back to the psychology, this is part of the psychology piece. You can't fool yourself into performing well at a meet when you know that there's no heat on you. All right, so Nationals was early in the ramp process for us deliberately, but also you have to recognize it's like we don't compete in the bubble, right? That pressure is important. And when you show up at a world meet, knowing that you have very, very competent opposition coming here, and you haven't seen their footage lately, you know it's going to be on. And yeah, I can show you this. You know what happens to a team when they're ramping for a meet. The stats get wildly better.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
And it's the last 4 weeks, right? There's no magic switch. You can't just show up and expect to do well. It's a very deliberate process, 4 weeks, maybe 6 tops, of honing, and final competition.
I want to say that Kurt Werner started us thinking this way. It was like a couple of years ago. I don't know if it was for Norway and Nationals or something like that, but he was like, you know, it's hard to peak twice in the same part of the season for competitions. Like it's hard to do like a great Nationals and then a great World Cup, or a great Nationals and a great World Meet. And we started kind of thinking about that, and like everybody was saying, we just structured our training so that we peak at the meet that we are really care about. Like it was the reverse last year. Last year we had Norway and then Nationals, so we structured everything to peak at Norway. And then nationals, we were kind of falling off the edge a little bit up to peak, because it's hard when you've structured it to your entire year to be like, these are the most perfect jumps you could put together, and you're just hitting the line on every one of them. And then to be expected to keep that for another 2, 4, 6 weeks, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to do that. And for us, we try to avoid that by just having that peak be a short period of time, and accepting that, okay, it's going to fall off, but it's going to fall off a little bit on the next competition, but let's just structure it so that we hit the most important competition. And I think we did that this year and last year.
It's interesting. It sounds like it could be even counterproductive to have the World Championship or World Cup before the nationals. If you have teams which are on the same level, one team doesn't have to go to the World Championship, only one team goes. The other team prepares for the national championships, and there you go. All of a sudden you are.
But that's we have some examples of that. If you look at Magic winning in Croatia, they came back and did nationals in Paris. It was a big deal.
Or the Gateway in Sebastian,
Yeah, so that 99 even for Airs before anyway. They really were up against the Golden Knights and FX at the time at US Nationals, and they had a struggle in both disciplines, and then they kind of dropped off a little bit at the World Championship. Or you can even go back to other years where this is not not just a made-up thing; it's a real thing.
No, we saw it. It is happening, and it should be like this. I mean, in all sports, you are trying to, develop your training plan according to the event where you really want to win. What if you have two and you have tough corners? So it's interesting.
And again, the next lineup is, to be clear, our goal is going to be the 2026 World Meet. So that means next year we'll be structuring our peak to be at nationals. Not necessarily at the World Cup in Netherlands. You know what I mean? The World Cup in Netherlands is going to be a meet that we're going to want to have a really strong showing at, and we're going to take it extremely seriously. But we're going to structure the training so that we peak at nationals, because that's the important thing.
And there will be competition next year,
there
probably.
Will be.
So okay. So then at the Shamrock Showdown, we will know, where everybody is, and from there we go forward. You're coming again, of course.
So that's the other thing, you just go into competitions. If you looked at Airspeed, we actually, back in the day when I first joined Airspeed, we didn't go to many competitions. We really went to Shamrock and stuff, but we didn't go to the World Cups and to the DIPC, thank you, in Dubai. We kind of just went to the ones we had to go to and leave it at that. And then we made a decision as a team to start going to everything. And some people even told us, why even going? You're going to embarrass yourself.
Win games.
No, but and that's also something, competition is training. Just as a team to perform at the highest level, being able to go and learn about each other. So one day you can perfect that recipe, how you all perform under pressure, and then being able to perform under pressure.
And that's something that Chris and I are looking for the next year, is to mirror the experience. We may not get the same experience as this lineup had in Win Games in 2020, but we are going to structure the training and our first competition to be at Win Games in January of next year, because it's an important experience to go there feeling, for the new people and us to feel woefully unprepared, and to throw something against the wall and see what sticks. And people might look at it and see it as us being very unprepared and not performing well, or it might be the kind of mixed bag experience that we had with us when we performed at Win Games, where it kind of surprised people. But regardless of what it is, it's a very important milestone for the next lineup. I'm quite convinced of it.
I 100%. There's nothing better than having a fire in your butt and being nervous in round one, and finding a calmness in your teammates' faces. Like right before you leave the plane, or right before you enter the tunnel, it's like going through being in the fire with them multiple times from the start, and it's beautiful. And I was totally against one of Win Games, but
So,
now I'm like,
I guess now we just want to pass it forward. We were forced to go to Win Games, so now we're going to force the new guys to do the same thing.
It was like a month of training, and they're like, you're in a new slot, we're going on a world stage. It's like,
you can do that. You are undefeated now since November 2020, right?
Yeah,
you were doing you were doing the math the other
You
day,
have the
right?
math
You said
on it.
19 straight competitions, but
Yeah.
like you have to work out that muscle,
So
right?
you cannot go to the Wind Games and lose. You can't do that.
No, we
No, we
That's-
need
that-
to.
no, that-
We
yeah,
need to for the
No,
first
that's
two,
true,
right?
right.
they can because that's expectations on the
Yeah.
outcome. You can't do.
Yeah, you
can't-
don't want to
can't
wrap
do that.
yourself up in winning or losing. You need
Yeah.
to wrap yourself up in, hey, we need to go.
Of
We
course.
got to start somewhere. And that was,
Yeah.
when we went to Wing Games that first year, we committed ourselves to a scientific process where we're going to go and do our thing, no expectations, not trying to win, not trying to lose, just do our thing. And when he said, let's see what sticks. And we just happened to have a very good experience. And then round 10 of that meet, we started building some expectations.
Yeah.
And that's what bit us in the butt. And then it took us a few meets to really
to find that magic again.
yes, but that was the growth that made this team perform so quickly. Like what Chris said, we got to throw people in the the
Fire.
oven. Yes,
See what-
And
I like an oven.
so when it comes
Pressure
to
cooker.
when it comes to everybody else in our community, right? Like you have to take this to heart, right? How many times do you hear people say it's like, yeah, we're doing really well in training, we just never put it together. It's like this stuff doesn't grow on trees. You just have to do it and do it again. You know, you can't expect to do amazing things in just 1 year of skydiving, right? How many teams in our community do more than 1 year commitments, right? Like
Less than 50%, probably less than 25.
5%.
Yeah.
You know, so like all these things matter. So like
Absolutely.
figure out how to work with your teammates. You know, do every competition you can just because it matters
Possible to replicate the feeling of the competition.
as much as you possibly can.
And what's your
Because
high-
you never we never feel good. You think we feel good on round one? You think we feel good about any of these world meets skydives? No, it feels like garbage because your whole body is trying to escape from the situation.
It's like the first skydive. No.
No, that's it.
I don't want to go on the
I kind of
door.
joke about that. It's like I like my first skydive so much, I try to replicate that through competition.
Yeah.
But like, it's a skill set that needs developing. It's not magic. It just looks like that from the outside if you don't know what's
Is it enough?
But then also the whole thing about I call it defensive thinking, that you have to train enough to have a good competition performance. But it's like, no, you don't. Like, because you're training with no pressure on you, and you actually have to train with pressure on you. And from that is go to Shamrock.
Thank you.
Shamrock,
Thank you,
Now, but
Nick.
then go
Big fan
to
of cells,
Wing
yeah.
Games.
And it's really true, of course. I'm not just. We are not making this
It's
up.
just
Shamrock
convenient
for
that it
sure, because
benefits
you do get the best team. Like, you know, every year now it's been most of the years that I've gone. It's always been
Our
like
friends
the top
are already
teams.
committed. Hopefully the Tigers will come in this sun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this was. I mean, we have had long conversations in the past, even on camera and on record. I think this broke all the records.
Well, you know why? It's the location. Everybody wants to stay at the
Yep.
beach. Nobody
Yep.
wants to sit in the
Next,
water.
next time we do an interview, it's going to be in the steam room.
Yeah, right.
Yes, sauna.
Hey, I bet you guys can't stay in the sauna for that long. Maybe jacuzzi. This guy definitely a strip club.
And the girls are listening in on all that. We have some families here, family members. All right, we're not going to get into this. Thank you so much, and I think we have to finish this with a lineup street.
With a what?
Well, we got to line up
No,
there.
no, hold on. You guys are fired. So.
We got to do the
I
thing.
step in there.
You want to join us here? Come around a little bit so you don't block, you can't block the view there, dude.
Can you still do it?
I'm right on top of
With your hips?
Yeah, you're in the middle of you.
Sorry.
Yeah, here
I'm
we
right
go.
on top of the microphone now.
Yeah, so here we
Hold
go.
on. Who's gonna do it?
You, Christopher.
Hold on.
La 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 la.
There's no speed like.
Airspeed.
Oh, I was pretty close. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye. Goodbye, S-Speed with this lineup. Goodbye, Niklas. Goodbye, Mikhail. Welcome to the new lineup.
How'd you talk to that? That AARP thing, but I really want that video.